You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump biographer exposes why Melania's preposterous legal move is doomed to fail, based on an article by Thomas Keket. Litigation is harassment, not law. Melania Trump's fight with Michael Wolff is being packaged as a legal dispute. It reads more like a pressure campaign. The facts in the source are simple. Wolff wrote about the Trump family and Jeffrey Epstein. Melania threatened suit. Wolff filed an anti-SLAPP case. A Trump-appointed judge tossed it, and Melania is now chasing sanctions against his lawyers. That is not a clean search for redress. It is an escalation ladder. The real objective. The article's frame is too polite for what is happening. The question is not whether Melania Trump can eventually prevail on a technical point. The question is what the litigation is for. Wolff says it plainly. Trump-style lawfare is designed to raise costs, force delay, and punish the target before any merits are ever reached. That is the real institutional power on display here. Not persuasion, not proof, pressure. Who has the leverage? Melania Trump is not some private citizen stumbling into court with no clout. She is part of the most powerful political family in the country, backed by the president's personal lawyer, Boris Epstein, and a legal operation Wolff says is coordinated at the highest levels. That matters. The weaker actor in this story is not the plaintiff. It is the reporter facing a machine built to make defense expensive and exhausting. That is why the sanction request is revealing. Sanctions are supposed to discipline abusive process. Here they are being deployed as another weapon in the same process. If the goal were just to answer the underlying claims, the legal path would be obvious. Instead, the machinery is pointed outward at the lawyers who dared to file. The court sees the game. Judge Mary Kay Viscasil, a Trump appointee, has already signaled skepticism about the value of dragging this case further through court. Her comment about people getting caught up in the fervor of the moment is judicial understatement for a very old abuse, using litigation as a venue for delay, punishment, and procedural attrition. That this warning came from a Trump judge does not sanitize the tactic. It sharpens the point. Even within a legal system that often bends politely around Trump world power, the burden of this kind of case is visible enough that the court itself is asking whether the parties should keep going. Coordinated on purpose. The accidental text Wolff received from Epstein is the most telling detail in the source. It suggests the case is not a spontaneous personal grievance, but a coordinated operation with layered legal actors moving in sync. Hey team is not how a single plaintiff sounds. It is how a political allegiance network sounds. That matters because coordination changes the meaning of the dispute. It stops being a private clash between a first lady and a biographer and becomes an example of how elite political families use legal intimidation as part of their broader control structure. The point is not to clarify truth. It is to manage risk, suppress inconvenience, and make dissent cost more than silence. What this story really shows, the article's weak framing is that it treats the conflict as a legal squabble with uncertain edges. That obscures the pattern. What the reporting actually shows is how Trump world converts grievance into a weapon, how it uses courts to exhaust critics, and how it treats legal process as a venue for domination rather than resolution. That is the political meaning here. Not confusion, but method. Not a messy dispute, but a familiar authoritarian habit of making accountability expensive, cumbersome, and personal. The legal system is not being asked to decide a question. It is being used to punish the asking. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Marcus, thanks for listening.